Good morning from Dubai and hello from Vancouver. Hello to the Vancouver folks. So this is
Look,
Shambhavi from Shambhavi Spectrum, and I have my very wonderful friend, consultant, partner in crime, partner in marketing, Sharjil out here.
why crime? No,
And
no
I
crime, no crime. Ladies and gentlemen, no crime. Just good, sensible work.
Yeah, wait. Let me first give my apologies to our audience because Shantanu is not here today because he's not feeling well. And of course, he's the person who balances our act. Even if you look at the poster, you can see that. And so when the cat is away, the mice are going to play. No, Shantanu, full. We will adhere and we will just pretend that you're here. Sharjil, go ahead, give an introduction to yourself and tell us what is the weather like. We are in good weather here. It's sunny, though there was a rain alarm yesterday, but we are good and safe. Go ahead and you
That
tell
is
me what's
good to
going
hear.
on.
So I'd say like over the last 4 weeks since we started this, previously, 8:45 was really dark. Like that's when we sort of begin around here. Like not 8:45, we begin at like 9:45 around for us. Today it was bright almost, right? Like the sun just set as the recording said. So we've gotten a lot more hours of sunlight, which is amazing, but the weather is like all over the place at the moment, right? Because we are going through the seasonal shift. And I think Shapnu, he did message me earlier saying, hey, I'm feeling a little unwell. I'm like, dude, take care, take rest, because it is not cheap to fall ill in this country. So you better not, right? Like it's almost one of those situations. But let's move right into marketing stuff because this is what we're here for, and I absolutely love this, right? So this is
Yes.
sort of the final wrap up for this session, this 4 week thing that we have. We'll have another one soon, but I do want to talk about some very basic things like we focused on. So let's talk about three particular elements today: category, audience, and platform. Right? I think these are
And let's cap it. I can't do without my acronyms, but they help in
uh,
remembering things. Let's be
yeah, yeah,
honest. So,
they fully do. It's just weird. Like it's almost like, hey, I have made like I'm like, okay, this is the thing. I'm not thinking of acronyms, abbreviations, and suddenly I'm like, what? Oh, okay. You know what the worst part is? I think a few months from now, somebody may see this and they'll do like, ooh, CAP, it also is Pac, and then they'll find three characters for MAN and they'll call it Pac-Man. It'll be like a whole new thing. But let's dive right into some things about where great campaigns really exist. Because that's where we really want to build a few things. Now, in my opinion, that is a very humble opinion at that. I think great campaigns are where brands meet either purpose or they meet moments. The last few weeks we gave, I think Shantanu was talking about the eclipse as well, and he was talking about it within the context of Red Bull. Right? Here's an example of the right side of how Burger King did it. It's incredibly classy, if you ask me. And I'm like, oh, I want to eat that. It feels like a spotlight for that. So good. And on the left side, you can see a much more clear example of EDB, which is Development Bank within the Emirates. And what they did with a plastic camera, right? Is it's definitely one of those things which was like, ooh, it's like it stands out. And you can see that they're really trying to address issues, they're trying to have good execution. In either of them, how much is sales really moving? Not a lot. But there's a reason it's called a brand campaign and not a business campaign. It's a whole different thing. So, Dr. Swami, what are your thoughts on this, like how you approach date campaigns?
no, this is something which is everybody's challenge, and how much of the branding or how much you want to share the bigger picture, or are you so focused on just creating and just attracting and acquiring customers or just giving them these deals and offers? But which is a very concept in societal marketing is that when you do things for society, people automatically get attracted to you. So this is where these brand purpose and actually finding a purpose for a brand becomes so important, and then on and off repeatedly telling it, sharing it really makes a lot of difference because this stays in the mind. And
Yeah.
I think they've done a great job of it. Very, very, though it looks like it's situational, but it's a global issue.
Yeah, 100%, right? And let's look at that because I think one of the things that's very important, the situation, the connect, all of that is really dependent on the category, in my opinion. And truth be told, some categories lend themselves way better to marketing than other categories. I have,
Shakil, I'm going to interrupt you here. Your voice is a little, like, I mean, little less volume. Do you think you could maybe move the mic or check? And you know, now when you say, "Can you hear me?" and that will be the minute when I'll definitely be able to hear you. And then after that, we want to make sure that we continue to hear you.
yes, I have no idea why that may be the case. I think it, is this fine? Like I have changed nothing, but somehow
Or
technology does that.
yes.
Okay, yeah, technology being technology. So what I was saying is knowing the category which you operate in is very important, especially before you get into crafting messaging which might be disruptive or just very unique to that category. Because think of it this way, I have worked with both, petroleum sort of companies as well as internet providers. In internet providers, when you're doing a lot of marketing, especially digital marketing, is very different from offline. In digital marketing, all you'll get in the comment section is complaints because people remember the internet only when it doesn't exist. It's much like oxygen. You will remember oxygen only if you don't have it, right? That's the only time it'll come to your hand. And same way with petrol as well. Petroleum companies, again, there's a lot of hate, especially amongst climate activists, green lawyers, stuff like that. So you have to really know the category and the space you're operating in. And that's why you really do three things in particular. You do a category competition study, basically you figure out what the landscape looks like. This includes your market reports, listening tools, auditing tools, category trends. Then you have what I call category differentials and distinction, right? Because you don't want to join a category as an oil company. You want to be Shell or you want to be BP, something which is very particular. That's where you have things like VRI,
So now you are officially frozen, Sharjil. Sharjil, we can't hear you. Okay, audience, please be a little patient and wait for Sharjil to come back. In the meantime, um, let me mention about the fact that it's when you're looking at market reports, it's not always necessary that the market reports will you'll be able to have access to it. Maybe they are paid, maybe they are very expensive. However, most of these reports actually have some kind of what should we say, an abstract, an analysis, something will be there which you can easily take a look at and use that information and go deeper into some other information. Then again, subscribing to certain newsletters, industry trends is very important. Now in a class, wherever, when I teach or whenever I talk to companies, startups, when I say competition, I also ask them very kindly to look at potential competitors as much as the competition which is specific. Sharjil, we just lost you, but that's fine. I'm just telling about the competition and
yeah,
competitors. Yeah, so this is very important, and I must say that knowing the trends in your business is very important. Easy to get into a cocoon. And apart from your present competitors, please watch out for potential competitors, because if the sector, the whole industry is interesting and something which is growing, which is going to towards a particular vision which fulfills everybody's purpose, there will be many people who will jump into it. People who have money, people who have resources, and people who have the skills. So please watch out for that. Will you share the slide now?
Unfortunately, my internet is zonked, so I've connected from my mobile. Would it be possible for you to
Okay.
share a slide? So, because I have
Okay. No.
them with me.
Yeah.
My bad
So
on that, folks. Welcome
Okay,
to
so you keep, yeah,
Bad
you keep
Network
continue
Connection.
to talk and let me search for where these slides are right now. You go
Yeah,
ahead and keep talking. It's okay. It's all right. Just go ahead and
sure.
talk.
So basically, what I was mentioning is category economics as well to know where money is being spent. A very good example over here is what Netflix has done to certain revenues within entertainment, right? Think of it this way, everybody is increasing their ability to spend, which is to say, more people today have expendable income than yesterday, right? However, companies like Netflix are still not profitable, which is very weird. So then you notice what's happening. You will notice restaurants have seen an increase in the amount that they are making. So clearly, that disposable income that came from theaters is going to restaurants, right? This is how categories shift. Knowing that is very important in business, right? Because you really want to be where the market is willing to spend money. And there are certain things, especially knowing your audience and knowing the category as well. EdTech is a great category because it works on selling hopium and promise of a better life, right? And now in that category, if you come and say, hey, this is nothing special, it's never going to work, right? So knowing the category and how people behave and respond in the category is, in my opinion, of critical importance. And in fact, I'm not sure if you've managed to look at the slides yet, Dr. Shambhavi.
Yeah, I'm just
Um,
doing that. Just go
you're
ahead. You
just doing that
continue that.
brilliant
Because I have
because
to
one,
download, and you know how this works. So let me share this with the audience. That usually when Sharjeel is there or Shantanu, they put up the slides and they control it from there. But we can all control them. But I need to download it and then upload. So I'm just at doing it. But you go ahead because you know the
yeah,
content and you prepared them. Let's give you due credit. Go ahead.
yeah, that's totally fine. And folks, we do have to say, like, welcome to one of those days where, one person in your team falls ill, your internet doesn't work, and suddenly, woohoo, compounding. But the basic idea over here was to really acknowledge that you need to know your category before you really get into messaging and especially disruptive messaging, because that is a whole different problem in itself. And basically, the slide which at some point, we'll be sharing these as resources on LinkedIn as well. But there's a beautiful slide of a L'Oreal ad, which is L'Oreal, let's face it, is a company which is largely a personal care brand for women. But they created a campaign called This is an Ad for Men, right? And it was so incredible because what it does is the byline on that is hire more women in leadership roles. We're all worth it. That's what the ad is. And it says this is an ad for men. And you're like, makeup ad, what? And then you see the fine print and you're like, whoa, okay, that's very good advertising. In my opinion, like very good ad, right? Um, let's move to the second part. Sorry,
Yes.
you were
Sorry,
saying?
yeah, I'm giving you an update. You have to continue because I have downloaded the slides and my computer refuses to pick up where it is. So just
Uh,
go ahead.
I fully get that. This is how life works. I think it's just sometimes life is funny, right?
You know, every time people will say about being agile and being flexible and stuff, this is the truth of it.
Yeah. I don't even pretend like this is not it. But yeah, coming to the second part, which is knowing the audience. Knowing the audience again is some of these things are like super important. What do we mean when we say knowing your audience? First off, interact with people in real time. These have to be real human beings, right? Let's be very honest about this. Most of us have this really bad habit of developing personas out of nowhere. Like it's just some digital personality that may never really exist as a person. The second part of that is know where culture is shifting or do a culture trend analysis. And finally, this is where your buyer personas and heuristic analysis comes in. Let's give examples for each one of them, right? So when you are interacting with people in real time, this is what I mean by focus groups, customer surveys, and fundamentally, if you want to ever get into user generated content as well as a strategy, you need to know the audience and what the audience really want to make for you. The second part of this within the trend analysis is where you actively start listening to who are the leaders of culture. Typically, leaders of culture exist within food, within sports, they exist within entertainment, they exist within music. See what's happening in that. Keep a peripheral vision, always helpful. And In terms of buyer personas and heuristics, think of it this way, right? Most people, between men and women, when you're applying lotion, women are more likely to put dots and then, massage it onto the face. Men, nothing, animalistic, right? Throw it all on their hand, lather it up, put it like it's soap. This is not data that will come out in market research. This is data that comes out in behavior analysis and behavior trends. You need to observe people, right? Your marketer will say that company has sold 300 times more than someone else, but it won't say this is how people are using it. In fact, I think ID, which is an Indian company primarily in the food space, does some of the greatest product innovation based on how people utilize their products. Like they have that vada thing which just pours out the entire shape for you, which trust me, with some experience, I have some experience in hospitality and hotels. It's one of the hardest thing to do is shape food, especially shaping dough is it looks easy when it's a hard dough, but when it's a wet dough, it's relatively harder. So I definitely think that that's
Can you
something
see
for
the
us to
screen?
really do.
Are you able to see a
Yes.
screen? Okay, but it's I'm so sorry, it's not at its best. I can't do anything better than this.
It's totally
So
fine.
yeah,
It's
okay.
totally fine.
Now we have everyone seeing everything that is our conversation.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't really have much to
No,
hide
so
over here.
maybe no, so maybe this is when you should speak about Slack because I know that Slack was one of the things which we have on our agenda.
Yes, because definitely, like I would say, it comes like slightly later, but we'll get to that. But knowing the audience before representing them is what we're really getting at over here, right? Because many times what happens is we have this fake audience picture in our head of some person who may not exist, and then we try to represent that person, which ends up being a story that belongs to no one being told by the brand. That is a very wrong strategy. First, figure out what stories actually exist and then see where your brand fits into those stories. Don't start with the brand and start writing stories around the brand. That is never going to be good writing, especially in my opinion. And that's where knowing the audience is critically important. Now, Shami, what are your thoughts on knowing the audience?
Yes, so this is something which mostly people, and I have found this in real time, is you think that because you like a particular brand or you like a particular product, the way it is, you are going, everybody who's with this product or your audience or your customer is going to do the same thing. First of all, there is so much bias in that. You really need to be objective about it. And second, what do people think about themselves? For example, let me say that when women are addressed as ladies or women and all, they're like, okay, but the minute you say girls, everybody goes like a little bit, there's no girl out there, but in her mind everybody's a girl, and it's the same for men. In their mind everyone is a little boy. Always there is a little bit of that child which is hidden in you, but you tell people don't be childish and they will not like it. So these are things which one needs to understand. And one of the best things I like about when you describe, when we do, which will come later on again, is the customer journey. What are they doing, how are they doing it, where are they doing? These are very very important components of understanding the buyer, and also their persona. So whether it's a person, whether it's a family person, whether it's a single person, or whether it is a person who is like, now their partners have passed on, and now what are they doing in their time in life. And I was saying this somewhere else also, and I'll say it now. Recent I was listening to a radio talk which said that people are going to live for 120 years, which means what are we now, kids? So and you are an infant, Sharjil, okay?
How I wish, how I
Another 10
wish. That
years.
would be
Yeah,
insane.
in another 10 years, the way research will be that we will all live up to 120. But the funny thing was, I mean, the radio jockey put it up very well, and he said, we will be living and working till 120. He says, I understand living, but why do we have to work till we are 120?
I think so. Maybe I don't think so. It'll be incredible though, right? If we were able to
Yes.
live that long.
Yes.
Personally,
Now,
I'm of the impression that in to me at least, many people say longevity is you should all be able to die. That is, and whenever there's this character in movies or somewhere who can't die, I'm like. it's always shown as the sad, miserable character. I think that's wrong. I would spend multiple lifetimes studying animals and animal behaviors and just writing them down. I would find so many ways to spend time. But
Yes.
that's just, if people knew me as the audience member, trust me, you'll be able to craft such good communication meant for Sharjeel. But that comes with speaking with Sharjeel and people like Sharjeel. And that's the
Yes.
beauty of knowing your audience before representing them. People like us do things like this is fundamental. So
So
know who us
I
is.
want to, yeah, I want to talk here about focus groups. So, as you know, and in my background also, 13 years I worked as a focus group moderator, and one of the most important things which we were trained to do was when you are conducting a focus group. Now, let us say I ask you a question and say, when do you use this? Okay, when do you use a particular toothpaste? And you say morning and evening. As a person who's listening to you, I'm not even supposed to say morning and evening. That's it, because that means that you're probably judging the person, and the person says, no, no, I do morning, afternoon, evening. So you are like manipulating the behavior and the conversation. So even a repeat question of that, so you ask in some other ways. So if I wanted to really know, then I'll say, what about the other family members, or something like that. So that is why you really need to be alert and make sure that you are not pushing your bias to your audience. It takes a lot to be objective and to be honest about what your brand actually is. So focus groups are great, but don't push your ideas onto people. Same thing with customer
I
surveys. Yes, people are just,
the
you're
bit
so
of
eager, you just want to fit that persona into it. No, that is not how
yes,
it is. You need to make sure that
exactly.
you've got the correct people. Only then you'll get a correct result from it, and all that money that you're spending will go the correct way. Apart from this, I believe
Precisely.
observation is a great method of real time, real audience, and and understanding. So you don't need to really, even if you're not interacting with them on a one on one or as a group, just observing really makes a lot of difference. Sharjil, you were saying something when
In
I interrupted you.
yes, I was saying like to that point of observation first because I top of mind. And I have always said there are only two skills that truly differentiate great marketeers from the good ones. First one is observation, the second one is experiencing, or your ability to experience the brand for what it is. If you don't have both of these things, you will never reach greatness in marketing because nothing else is more important than relatability, hangoutability, and that comes with observation. It is critical to train observation, right? And like you were mentioning with focus groups and whatever has an implication of bias, I don't even think brands should do their own brand-led focus groups. Like, in fact, I have been a participant and a curator for certain focus groups as well. And I don't work with the brand manager there. Usually, we're like, brand manager, first get up. Because they usually get defensive as well. And I'm like, why? The idea is to get feedback and not to justify what you're really trying to get at, right? So let's move from here, this section a little bit because I think it's very important to move to the last part, which is the platform segment,
Is the
right?
screen still being shared?
Yes,
Okay.
I can see the know the audience slide.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to move it because it's not moving now. Uh,
It's okay. I mean, today I
yeah, go
think we've
ahead. You go
faced
ahead and
all
talk. Yeah.
possible errors.
Good. Yes.
So
Yeah, yeah,
it
it's done.
feels
It's done.
great
We're on
to
your, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
lovely. Oh, these are some like insane ads that I managed to find as well. The one on the right is the Slack one, which is so good. It's can you imagine that blessing? What it feels like to get 48% less. It's they could have said 50,
No.
easily could have 48. It's perfect, right? Snickers is always known for, hey, you're not you when you're hungry, which is such a human insight, right? The bottom left is not a matchstick. It is hot sauce. The DHL one, I'm not sure like if you can see with clarity. What is the chicken and the egg? And both of
Yes.
them have the second place medal. Because guess who came first? DHL, right? Very clever, very quirky ways of representing things in, I'll say, not really challenging design ways. Yes, it requires good photography, it requires good design skill, but you're not really doing something out of the world in terms of animation or in terms of looks. You're treating something with the precise effect that you want. So that's what the importance of knowing your audience is. Because let's be honest, when you see a person breathing fire, it immediately says that's hot sauce. Nothing else needs to be said. If you change that fire today from, it's orange to a blue, people will think it's hotter sauce for no reason whatsoever. That's how color works. And let's move from here to the final bit.
Yeah.
Lakshmi, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, so no, no, I just wanted to bring it up that we've discussed the category, we've discussed the audience, and now we want to understand the platform, especially when the platforms, every day there are new platforms coming up. And we discussed this in our previous session that how it's such a challenge for people and everyone wants to be everywhere. You don't really need to do that. So, and then how you want to know your platform. And I pretty much, was a believer in this that 100% you people can grow in an organic way and stuff like that. But I think there is something in what Sharjil says here, and I think I would like Sharjil for you to continue this conversation,
Yeah,
especially because you've
because
dealt with people, dealt with companies, seen some amazing results, and I would like you to share that with us.
yeah, there's multiple dimensions to this conversation, right? So first caveat to like really establish is we're looking at this through the lens of a brand, not a individual creator or influencer, or somebody who's a content creator. Why do I say that? Brands and content creators are enemies. They aren't really working for the best interest of each other. A content creator works for their best interest, a brand works for their best interest. Typically, there are three kinds of markets existing within each platform. There is the content creator market, there is the brand market, and there is the branded content market. A content creator is anybody who makes content their business. A brand or brand pages typically are there to exist within the dimensions of business itself. Lakshmi, I think your Slack is there. Yeah. And
Yeah, I
finally,
know.
you have branded content. Branded content is the one where business is driving decision making. So content in the content ecosystem, content drives decision making. In the brand ecosystem, brands and brand values drive decision making. But in branded content, which is the realm of sponsorships, affiliates, sales, that's what really drives decision making. Right? Why do I say these things are important? Because now the limits and how you play around with some of these things are critical. If you were to ever explore organic media and organic reach through the lens of a brand, it's very different than through the lens of a creator. A creator has better shots of going organic because a creator spends time building a community. A brand does not necessarily do that because it's not the business. Your business is not get followers on Instagram. Your business is sell your product, make your money. You want to focus on that. And where is this really important? Sometimes you will see incredible organic growth as a brand, but none of that is monetizable audience. So what is the point of having 10,000 followers if you cannot have one person to buy from you? In fact, like there's a bunch of other metrics that come in over here, like monthly active users, average revenue per user. All of these are different. For example, if a company like Meta or Canva or YouTube launches in a country like India, it now adds 1.4 billion people to its monthly active users, at least as a addressable market, right? This looks great in international calls. And if you see your followers increasing, and then you're like, dude, where? I don't know who half of these people are. These are signals going to social media in the wrong way. Your profile will plateau. And there's no way to get out of that without spending money. So what I recommend is start thinking of where you're going to be spending money right from the get-go. There's no reason you have to do a full-fledged campaign. Nobody's saying that. Most brands think that they have to do full-fledged campaigns. No, start slow. Second, understand where collaboration really lies. If you're trying to build on Instagram, collaborate with Instagram influencers. If you're building on YouTube, collaborate with YouTubers. Don't collaborate with YouTubers, push it out on Instagram and say, why is my Instagram not growing? Because it was never designed to do that. And finally, understand audience platform behavior. For example, uh, I know for the fact that my family is totally okay with whatever content I post. I know some friends who cannot post certain content and they follow their families on Facebook, not on Instagram. So their Facebook and their Instagram look nothing alike, right? Therefore, knowing who is behaving in a platform and how they're behaving. Snapchat works nothing like any of this. TikTok is a whole different beast in itself. So knowing where double click likes are happening, or knowing like, hey, for example, TikTok is trying to push a lot more e-commerce. In fact, if you look at penetration rates across individual countries, the Middle East has the highest number of TikTok users per population density. I think Saudi Arabia has 99% TikTok penetration rate, which is remarkable if you think about it in every sense of that word. The commercial value of that is really on the high. People are more likely to buy on TikTok than they are on Facebook. Facebook, the only place where I can buy is marketplaces, not within a particular ad that you send. So knowing all of this, and again, I don't think this is the job of an entrepreneur. As a business owner, as somebody who runs an SME, it's not your job to know this. This is where I would say, please get help because there are professionals out there who will help you for literally a fraction of the cost for 100 times the result. And there's also individuals who will charge you 100 times the cost for a fraction of the results. Be careful, of course, but this is true of any hiring. But fundamentally, always gauge somebody for their knowledge of a platform and what their strategy is individually within each platform. If it is, hey, I'll do the same post here and there, leave, run for your life, opposite direction. And that's sort of where this is. What is Shambhavi? Go for it.
So I want to quickly add this, the category initially when we mentioned about category and you're looking at reports and things like that. And then when you look at the platform, you realize that many platforms have evolved. For example, TikTok used to be a fun platform and now it is the shopping platform. Good. Same thing, LinkedIn used to be always considered as a job search platform, but today it has become a professional networking platform. So watch out for these things. That is this platform what where you should be, the way it is evolving, the way they are coming up, that you can watch out. You don't have to put out all these posts and stuff together. You should take help, but at the same time. And Sharjil, before we move on further, I just want your very quick take on what do you think when people send you messages, and I get a lot of these on DM, is that we'll get you 20 leads and 10 conversions and this and that. What do you think these are? How should people take it?
If anybody can go from 0 to 1 million overnight, please buy their service and then waste your money and then come crawling back. That's what's going to happen. There is nobody who knows how to go do that overnight. Nobody. And look, if somebody's offering you coaching at the end of it, then what's the point? Like you're getting this coaching for free anyway. It's the same thing that you're learning here over there. Like in fact, go to mybrandstory.com. You'll get a full template on how to create a brand story. You don't even have to put in the work. Combine that with ChatGPT, you have an entire brand story. There. This is your training done. Now, when you want to actually move to good work and quality work, then hire professionals, right? Because there's a lot of people who are willing to sell you 100 leads, 200 leads. I'll be honest, I have seen none of them work. I have never seen people who didn't put in the effort on growing the business grow a business. Anybody who's trying to grow their own skill, in my opinion, becomes somebody who sells coaching at the end of it, especially in this domain, right? Like they'll be like, oh, let me teach you how this works. Don't listen to them at all, ever, please. Sorry, that was like, I feel like that
I
was
just
very unnecessarily rude. It shouldn't have been.
no, no, no.
I feel very
We
strongly about
need,
this.
no, because this is something which is very tempting, and especially when people are low and they're struggling, and you get these messages. But I always think to myself that if you get me 10 or 20 clients for within a week and month, do I actually have the bandwidth to take care of all of them in a justified manner? No. because it again
No, not
depends on
just
how
that.
many people
It's
are there in your team. It's not you're just
yeah.
selling
the-
something, which is a commodity, which also nowadays needs to be packaged and personalized, customized and stuff. So let's move on quickly, Sharjil, and I,
Yeah,
because I
because
just
it's opium. They're selling you opium fundamentally, and don't ever fall for emotional emotional, labor. If somebody's telling you hope, try your best to recognize it. If somebody's trying to throw a yeah, I you get the analogy of
Yeah, Sharjil, yeah,
throwing
I
a
know, and
raft.
we are already
So
into
that's what it
35
is.
minutes. I want you to quickly
Yes.
run us through this, and I just love what you put together. But please do, if you want to take a quick look, or you want our audience to take a look at it in their own time and understand this, maybe
Yeah,
they put a pause here and take a look at it. We will, of course, share
definitely.
this PDF as well. Any one particular thing you want to say about this before we move on to our business game
The
plan?
Coke recycle one for sure. Like, who plays with the brand logo so much? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, because crushed cans is basically what they're trying to show, saying recycle. Brilliant.
Yeah, and I also like this, the way they've got it in a brain and use it.
Yeah.
They're all very, very cute, very sweet. Scotch. I mean, the way it's showing the power of the nail, and this wake up morning is so cute. Somebody really has thought about, but it's conveying the message exactly for Nescafe. Great, great ads, and you realize that there's so much of hard work and thinking which goes behind all this before it comes on. So let us talk about what we are doing in our business game plan. Go ahead, Sharjil, and we've had this since January, and we've got clients. We've got some great testimonials, which I keep saying every week that we need to get them out, and we will get them out soon.
Yes.
Take us quickly through the journey of the business game plan.
So the business game plan is, like mentioned, the most actionable set of business practices, revenue stream optimizations, marketing systems that you really need to set up to grow your business. We will help you set it up. So the way it works is we charge an amount to make this really in-depth audit along with recommendations. After that, you're free to go to other people if you think that we are too expensive, or you're welcome to stay with us and we'll get them done way quicker. And there's a very unique revenue structure over there, which just DM us and we'll tell you all about it.
Sorry.
And I said just leave us a message, DM us, and we'll tell you all
Yes,
about it.
yes, exactly. So the process is that you sign up for this. We send you a whole business template, and once the payment is done, after that you get a big form which takes time to fill because you go through the process of analyzing some of what we've discussed here, some of what we've discussed in our previous sessions, and then we evaluate all your assets for you, streamline it, put it in a particular way, and actually honestly for the first 3 months you can just keep looking at it and keep working on it yourself. But if you want some quick injection into the brand, into your work, it's always good to reach out to us or to anybody and take that help and go ahead. But because we've done such an evaluation of all the assets, in-depth evaluation, plus giving you a video of what to do and how to go about it, it is good to trust us and know that while we had fun doing this, we want to continue contributing and collaborating. So with that, I think we are at the end of our session today, Shajil, and also end of the series of this is the fourth one. Please go check out the previous ones, and maybe we'll put out a post very soon where all of them can be, accessed at the same point. Shajil, thank you so
Yep.
very much. I know it's very late in the night
Thank
for
you.
you. You want to say something before we wrap up? Any last message, brand message, and let's cap it with that.
Um, get the business game plan. Help yourself out. You've got this.
Right. Thank you very much. I'm
Yeah.
going to stop sharing.
Thank you.
And I'm also going to say bye to our audience. Leave us a message. Let us know how we can help you. And we are all just eager, waiting to see how brands can evolve and contribute to this bigger environment. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.